We're now going to talk about the genetics problems. I'm trying to eat breakfast, bro, but I literally have work today and I won't have time to eat. Also, my eye crease right here is not working, so I'm gonna look mean for a bit so I can keep it that way. Okay. We're gonna move on to this. Let me check my mail real quick to make sure I'm not like closer look. Deep dive. Okay, whatever. My exam hasn't been. I'm just like, it's like exam week. I'm just like start stressing. Okay, so the first set of questions we're gonna go over is kind of like simple Mendelian and genetics. So I don't know how I'm gonna stream this because like I'm just gonna read it out, I guess. I don't know. You have the just explaining it we'll just do, I guess. Okay, so you have freckles, dimples, and a widow's peak, all dominant traits. Your significant other has freckles and dimples, but has a continuous hairline. In other words, big F, big D, big W, little W times big F, big D, little W, little W. What is the chance that your child will display all three recessive phenotypes? No freckles, no dimples, and a continuous hairline. So how I did it is like, so you see right here, I did basically the the genotypes, right? And then I wrote chance of all three recessive phenotypes. So I wrote what we have and then what we're missing or whatever. Or what we need, sorry, not what we're missing. That is the basis of every single question. You need to know what you have and what you need to find. So you're trying to find the chance of all. So what does chance of all mean? It means and. So what you do for and, you multiply, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to do a multiplication or like a F cross or just a regular simple cross for every single trait. So for F, D, and W. So first I did it for F, parent 1, parent 2, all the possible phenotypes, or genotypes, sorry. And then for the second trait, D, parent 1, parent 2, all the possible genotypes. Third one, parent 1, parent 2, all the possible genotypes. So you're trying to look for lowercase genotypes. So we're just going to look over here. Over here for that first trait, there's a 1/4 chance. Second trait, 1/4 chance. And then for the third trait, there's a 2/4 chance. So you're going to do 1/4 times 1/4 times 2/4, which equals 2/64, which is 3%. So that's the answer. Okay, so the next question is, in summer squash, what color fruit, which is big W, is dominant over yellow fruit color, which is little w, and disc-shaped fruit is big D, is dominant over sphere-shaped fruit, which is little d. If a squash plant true breeding for white disc-shaped fruit is crossed with a plant true breeding for yellow sphere-shaped fruit, what will the genotypic and phenotypic ratios be for the F1 generation and the F2 generation? So we wrote what we had. So I wrote big W is white is dominant to yellow, I believe, and then disc is dominant to flat or something. I don't know. All that matters is that's dominant. So you want a true, they said like a pure breeding. So a true big W with a true big D, with a true little W, with a true little D. What are the ratios for F1 and F2? So this is what we have. This is what we need. So basically, it's asking us, what are the crosses? So the cross that you would need to do for F1 would be the parental cross, which is the pure big W big D and then the pure little W W D, or little d. So F1 would be that cross. We would find that all of the genotypes will be heterozygous. So the genotype will be all of that, and the phenotype will be all big W and all big D because of the dominance. So it's also asking for F2. So for F2, you want to cross the like two of these heterozygous ones, right? Sorry, it's hard for me to like do this backwards. And then see you crossing both of the heterozygous meatballs or like whatever melons or whatever, and then you find out that this is going to be that ratio. So that's going to be the genetic one, and then the phenotypic ratio will be 9 to 3 to 3 to 1. Again, like I discussed earlier with the lecture stream or whatever. The two, if you have two like double heterozygotes, it'll result in a 9 to 3 to 3 1 ratio. If you have a heterozygote and a homozygote, it'll be a 1 to 1 to 1 ratio, or 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. Okay, next question. Two traits are being investigated in Drosophila. Did I even write this question down? Oh, I didn't. I'm just going to talk through it. So, it's asking like what eye color is dominant and which is recessive, which wing vein type is dominant, which is recessive, what is the most likely genotype for each parent of each cross. So to find out basically what is the dominant and recessive one, you just look, if it's two traits, you will look like at two of the same type of phenotype, and then you'll find out what the other phenotype is. Like, for example, if it's orange cross veins, orange cross veinless, you want to look at orange, but you're not looking at orange. You're just looking at that, but you're not investigating it. You're investigating the cross veins. So since orange cross veins is higher than orange cross veinless, you'll find out that cross veins are a dominant trait. And then for the other trait, you want to look at cross veins, and then you'll find out that orange is more than red. That means orange is the dominant one. So you'll find out that orange, sorry. Actually, in this question, red is the dominant trait. Basically, you want to like use context clues if it's too orange and they result in only orange. But if it's orange and red and it results in only red, then obviously red is going to be dominant. And the same thing for like vein shape or wing shape. And then the most likely genotype for each parent you'll figure out like from the results that you like infer, basically. Okay, so there are two genes in fruit flies that determine eye color and wing shape. Red eyes are dominant to brown eyes, and normal wings are dominant to vestigial or shriveled wings. Describe a procedure you would use to determine a genotype of a fly that has red and normal wings. So I wrote red is dominant over brown eyes. This right here. Oh my gosh. Please. Okay. And then normal is dominant to vestigial. It's hard to like show this. So the genotype for red and normal. Oh, you want to find the genotype. Okay, so you know that which is dominant over the other, and then you don't know which is the genotype for red and normal. So capital A is red, lowercase a is brown, capital B is normal, and lowercase b is shriveled. So red normal will be A blank, B blank, or big A blank, BB blank, because we don't know if it's going to be a homozygous dominant or a heterozygous dominant, so we just leave the blanks right here. To determine the blanks, you would perform a back cross with a recessive fly. So like you would perform like a heterozygous with a recessive homozygous. If the offspring are all the same, then the genotype is going to be AABB. Sorry, you're going to do a back cross of whatever this fly is with a recessive fly. So if the offspring are all the same, the genotype is obviously all big A, all big B, because again, crossing a big A with a little a will create a heterozygous. So if that means like the ratio is all the same. So that would mean that that's that. If the offspring is 1-to-1, however, that means the genotype is heterozygous both ways, because like that's the result of the back cross, basically. Yeah, and so that's basically what I said up there. But yeah, yeah, you're gonna do a recessive back cross to find out the. It's a bit confusing, but yes, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I think this is the last question in this set. Okay. About 70% of Americans perceive a bitter taste from the chemical PTC. The ability to taste this chemical results from a dominant allele, big T, and not tasting is the result of having two recessive alleles, little t. Albinism is also a single locus trait with normal pigment being dominant, which is A, and then a lack of pigment being recessive, which is little a. A normally pigmented woman who cannot taste PTC has a father who is albino and can taste PTC. She marries a homozygous normally pigmented man who can taste but has a mother who cannot taste PTC. Number 1, what are the phenotypes of the possible children between the two? Number 2, what is the percentage that the children will be albinos? Number 3, what percentage of the children will be non-tasters of PTC? So, multi-level question. Means you need a multi-level brain right here. So, what I did right here is I wrote what we needed. Genotypes of the children, or whatever. I wrote taste equals dominant big T, no taste equals recessive little t. Albinism, pigment, dominant big A, lack pigment, recessive little a. So I wrote our protagonist, and then the father of the protagonist, and then her partner, and then the partner's mom. So I wrote a star against who we're talking about right here. Like we're gonna write big A with big A with a blank because it says normal pigment, so we don't know if it's homozygous or heterozygous. And then we have two small t's because it says that our protagonist has no taste. And then up here, I wrote the father and mother. So the father is albino with taste, meaning he is little a, and then big T, little t. And then the mother is going to be big A blank, and then little t. And I inferred this information from the dad. So the information from the mom, I just inferred all of it. And then for the dad, the little a is from like the information, and then the taste genotypes I inferred from the kid. So yeah, from that father, basically, therefore, we're going to put the little a where this blank is because the father is albino, meaning regardless of what the mother is, because she has a big A, so it can't come from the father, so it'll come from the mother. So the mother has a big A, so the kid is going to obviously have a little a from the father. So it'll be big A, and little t's. Now the partner, he has taste, which means he has a big T with a blank, but and he's pigmented, so he's like big A. No, I don't know why I didn't do a blank for that. Hold up. I feel like I should have put a blank. Oh, yeah. So it says homozygous pigment, so never mind. Okay. So he's homozygous pigment, meaning big A, big T, blank. So the mom can't taste, which means she has two little t's, which means this last t will be a little one. So this is the cross right here. So we're going to cross that, and we'll find out that these are it's a 1-to-1 ratio of the kids. So we'll have a pigmented that can taste, a pigmented that can't taste, a pigmented that can taste, and a pigmented that can't taste. So I guess 1-to-1 ratio, but 1-to-1 genetic, and then 1-to-1 phenotypic. So there's 0% albino children because, again, like there's no recessive A traits. And then there's 50% non-tasters. Again, you can see right here, there's 2 of them that cannot taste. Sorry. So yeah, that's the answer. Oh my gosh, this is really annoying. I don't like doing questions, but we're gonna have to do that. Close. Okay, moving on to the second part of like questions or whatever. This is gonna talk about allelic interactions. So, an animal comes in three colors: blue, white, and orange. This trait is controlled by a single locus gene with incomplete dominance. A homozygous big B individual is blue, a homozygous little b individual is orange, and a heterozygous big B little b individual is white. Yes, I know blue and orange don't blend to white, but I'm telling you it's incomplete dominance. What would be the genotypes and phenotypes of the offspring if a blue tiger crossed with an orange one? What would the genotypes and phenotypes be if you cross two of the F1 offspring? So, okay. So what I did is I wrote down all the genotypes and the MOI, which is mode of inheritance, which is incomplete dominance. And then what are the genotypes? So I wrote the question. So the cross is going to be big B by little b. So for the F1 cross, if it's both homozygous dominant and both homozygous recessive, all of the traits are going to be heterozygous and all of the traits are going to be white. And if you're going to do an F2 cross, which would be the heterozygous cross with the heterozygous, it'll be a 1 to 2 to 1 genetic ratio and the 1 to 2 to 1 phenotypic ratio. So 1 blue, 2 white, 1 orange. So there are a bird species with 3 different types of beaks. Those with short crushing beaks, which is capital B, consume hard-shelled nuts. Those with long delicate beaks, which is lowercase b, pick the seeds from pine cones. And those with intermediate beaks, which are big B, little b, consume both types of seeds, although they're not good at either. Assume that this difference in beak morphology is the result of incomplete dominance in a single locus gene. Which of the mated pairs below will have the best adapted offspring in a year, in which most of the food available is in the form of hard-shelled nuts? And also, what would be the phenotypic ratio of the F1 generation resulting from a cross of big B by little b, little b? So I was given a list of crosses here. I'm just not going to read them all out because it's not necessary. However, I'm going to explain what I did for each cross. So they gave me 6 crosses here, which is short by short, short by intermediate, short by long, intermediate by intermediate, intermediate by long, and long by long. So basically, I wrote out. So since they only gave me the crosses, I wrote out the genotypic crosses, right? And I found out the offspring from that. So for the short by short, the offspring is going to be all short. For the short and intermediate, it's going to be half short, half intermediate. For the short and long, it's going to be all intermediate. For the intermediate, it's 1 to 2 to 1 ratio with the 2 or only 1/4 of it being short. For intermediate to long, it's 1 intermediate to 1 long. I guess from long to long, it's going to be all long. So what we're looking for is the best bird for the hard shell, which means we want short beaks. So the best cross would be short by short, which will result in all short. The second cross will be the short by intermediate, which result in half short birds, and then the third best would be the intermediate by intermediate, which result in 1/4 short birds. And then the ratio of that, the second question asked me what would be the phenotypic ratio of big B by little b. This was actually one of the ones I performed right here, which would be intermediate by long. So the phenotypic ratio will be 1 to 1 with a heterozygote and heterozygote with intermediate beak and then a long beak. So yeah, that's gonna be that. Let's see down here. Dragon eyes can be yellow, blue, or green. Is this an example of codominance or incomplete dominance? It's going to be an example of incomplete dominance because green is a mix between yellow and blue. And then what are the chances that 2 green dragons will have offspring with yellow eyes? So basically what I did is I assigned random like alleles to this. So I usually do A. So a green would be an intermediate, so it'd be capital A, or like a heterozygous mixed with a heterozygous. So the ratio will be 1 to 2 to 1. And since yellow is going to be kind of like that recessive trait, not recessive, but just I just assigned that recessive alleles to it, it'll be 25%. Yeah, that's the 1 out of 4 basically. Since it's a 1 to 2 to 4. So it'll be 1 blue, 2 green, and then 1 yellow. Dragon spines can be red, green, or a mix of red and green. Is this co-dominance or incomplete dominance? This is co-dominance because it can be 2. A dragon with red spines mated with a dragon with mixed spines. What percent of their offspring will have red spines? I did red by mix, and I found out it was a 1-to-1 ratio of red with mix, so it'll be 50% red. This is really like repetitive, really. Ooh, excuse me. In pumpkins, oval seed shape is completely dominant to over round seeds. Shell color is controlled by another allele, with orange shells being homozygous, and white shells are or homozygous dominant, and white shells are homozygous recessive. Yellow shells are heterozygous for the allele. What is the MOI for each trait? So the MI for seed shape, like oval seed shape, will be like simple Mendelian inheritance, and then the second MOI will be incomplete. Sorry. It says, what would be the genotypic and phenotypic results from a cross between oval seed orange pumpkin with a round seed yellow pumpkin? I found out that it was a 1-to-1 ratio. I really don't. I don't know, bro. I don't explain all this. It's boring. Okay, I'm gonna close this one. I'm really tired of doing this streams, bro. I don't want to do this anymore. But I have to. It's like my test is tomorrow. Anyways. So there's a disease that is recessive lethal gene. A man is heterozygous for that, and the woman is homozygous normal. What are the chances that their children or grandchildren will have this disease? So I put the man is heterozygous, the woman is homozygous A, like big A, because this is a recessive gene. So the F1's results will be big A, big A, big A, big A, big A, little a, and big A, little a. So it'll be 0% are expressed because there's none of the children that have like little a's or 2 little a's, but 50% are carriers because 2 of them out of 4 have big A, little a. So what are the chances of their grandchildren having it? So for the 2 big A, 2 out of 4 big A children, they're not going to have any kids that will have this disease. However, for the big A, little a kids, if they mate with another big A, little a, there is a 1 out of 4 chance. If they mate with a, they will have a 1/2 chance of having the disease. Okay, so in a dog breed, the hairless phenotype is dominant lethal, and coded is little h, so it'll be a dominant lethal allele. So like if you have big H, it's lethal. If you have big H, it'll be hairless, and then you have little h, it'll be coded. So in a cross between 2 dogs with hairless phenotype, what proportion of puppies born is expected to be hairless? So you're crossing a heterozygote with a heterozygote, so the ratio will be 1 to 2 to 1, with 1 being big H, 2 big H little h, and 1 little h. However, we just established that the big H will be lethal. So it won't be 1 to 2 to 1, it'll just be 2 to 1. And again, so 2 are the heterozygotes, so it'll be 2/3 hairless. And not like 2/4. There's a pleiotropy question that I'm going to not go over. Like, I mean, I might go over, but I'm gonna skip it for now. But I don't like pleiotropy, and I don't feel like it's necessary right now, so I'm just gonna skip it. Okay. Two more questions. Or, yeah, 2 more questions. A man with blood type O and LM claims to be the father of a child with a woman who is blood type A with LM. The child in question has blood type A and LMN. What is the probability that he is the father? I panicked at this question, actually, but turns out it was pretty simple. So we're looking at the baby, right? So the baby is type A, LMN. And again, M and N are codominant, so it would need a parent with MN, a parent with, or like a parent with M and then another parent with N. So by the short way to answer this question is you saw that the mom is type ALM and the dad is OLM. So there's 2 M's there. It no way can create MN. So we already know from the start that like it's 0% chance that the child is the father, which is like a womp womp situation. However, if you want to do it the long way, you saw that the baby is type A, so it could have alleles IAIA or IA little I. So the mom is, you don't know, but the mom could be IA or IA little I as well. And the dad, of course, is II. So it is possible that the dad and the mom can create a type A baby. However, again, if you're gonna do a second step by looking at the LMN antigen of the baby, you're gonna find out the mom is LM and the dad is LM. So you can't create an LMN baby from LM and LM, right? You need LM and LN or an LMN and an LMN, I guess. You know, like you need that. So it's impossible. So one more. So the second question, can each of the following situations happen? So can a child be produced? 1, O from type O from 2 type A parents. 2, O from type A and B. 3, AB from type A and type O. Or 4, type A from AB and B. So for the first one, you want a type O baby. So the alleles are going to be II. So yes, it can be created from 2 type A parents because they can both have 2. They can both each have a I-like recessive allele in their genes. For the second situation, you want a II from a type A and type B. Again, it is possible because the type A parent can have a recessive I allele, and type B can also have a recessive I allele. Type AB from type O and type A, no, because the type AB needs an IA and IB allele, and type O doesn't have either. So it just has 2 little I recessive alleles. So you can't have a baby from that. So for 4, you want a type A baby from a type AB and a type B parent. And the answer is yes, because the baby only needs 1 IA allele, which can come from the type AB parent, and then the type B parent can be giving a recessive allele, so that will make the baby type IA, little I, which will make it type A. Yeah. So this sounds really confusing without me like having a paper out, but it's okay. Okay, so a woman with type O and a man with type AB are expecting a child. What are the possible blood types the kid can have? Huh? Okay, so a woman with type blood O and Wait, I didn't do that question because I already knew. Okay. So determine the possible genotypes and phenotypes with respect to blood type with a couple whose blood types are homozygous A and heterozygous B. So homozygous A is going to be IAIA, and heterozygous B will be IB little I. So the genotypes can be IAIB and IA little I in a 1-to-1 ratio. And the phenotypes will just be type AB and type A. And it's a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm going to do this question real quick. The one that says, a woman with type O and a man with type AB are expecting a child. So the woman is going to be II, little I, and then type IA and IB. So what are the possible blood types the kid can have? The kid, already from looking at this, the kid can only be type A or type B, because type O will give 2 recessive alleles, and then type A and B we're going to give either an A or a B allele. So A allele with recessive allele is A type, B allele with recessive allele is B type. Okay, let me see if I'm gonna feel comfortable with this last question, because I really am not. I'm gonna look through it. Since this is a pleiotropy question, I'm not gonna actually look through it. Sorry. If I ever understand it, I may or may not go back and do a stream on it, but I don't feel like doing it today. I'm hungry and I need to go back to school to do my lab, so I will be studying more tonight. Wish me luck on my exam, and bye.